Welcome to the first ever AJ podcast. I'm your host, Anthony, and this is my colleague, Justin. How are you today, Justin?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I am great. Let's get right into it. Starting off with the MLB, the Blue Jays making some big
Big trades
adjustments to their
today.
team.
Those were massive. Well, they are currently losing 4-2 in the 11th inning right now. That is unfortunate. But before the game today, this morning, later this morning, they acquired Robbie Ray from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Massive. That's great for the rotation. But he's been rocky as of late. He's had like a 7 ERA, so he hasn't been great. But he's from 2016 to 2019, he's been fantastic. So if he doesn't pitch well in the rotation, then I think just move him over to the relief, to like the bullpen, and maybe be a relief pitcher. They also got Jonathan VR today, which was massive. He could play second base, third base, shortstop, versatile. He can hit. He batted like a 274 last year with the Baltimore Orioles, so he's been fantastic. He could play defense and can hit, so he could be a solid bench bat when Bo Bichette comes back. And just like around 20 minutes ago, the news broke that they got Ross Stripling. That's massive for another, again, more pitching because you need pitching to win championships. So great pitch from the Dodgers. He's been all right this season. So if he comes to Toronto, we're hoping he can do fine. And yeah, so today was just a good trade. Today was just a good day at the trade deadline. Massive trades. The New York Mets got Todd Frazier again. That's an odd one. They got Miguel Castro from the Orioles. That's good for the bullpen. Padres are going all in. They got Aaron Nola. They got Nola. They got Mike Clevenger today. They're going all in for a championship this season, it looks like. So they're just adding and adding. So, yeah, they also got Jason Castro for their catching position. So, yeah, it's been a pretty entertaining day today. Yeah.
Great day for Blue Jays fans. Speaking of another Toronto team, the Raptors falling short to the Boston Celtics last night in an epic first game clash. What are your thoughts on that?
They typically lose game one, so I'm not too worried. They just weren't great. Also, I think they didn't play as well as they wanted to because of what they were protesting for a couple days earlier before the game. So I don't think they were in the right mind space. But it's game one. If they go down 2-0, then there's a problem. If they tie it up the next game, then okay, everything's fine. But it just happens. They typically lose game one, so I'm not too worried. It was just basically an off game. Kyle Lowry looked all right. He had 15, 7, and 8, I think. So, Pascal Siakam wasn't great. Van Vliet wasn't great at all. But, it happens. So,
yeah, everyone has their bad games. They also shot a lot yesterday.
Yeah, they went 10 for 40 from the threes. That's not good. That's not good.
That's below 50% on their shooting.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
Wasn't that good of a game. But there's still a whole nother series. Speaking of the NBA, though, Denver tying up the series with the Jazz, making it Game 7. Jamal Murray putting up 50 points in that game.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on that?
I did think the Jazz were going to win this series, but but now the Nuggets came back 3-3. I think the Nuggets win Game 7. They have all the momentum right now. I don't see the Jazz stopping them now. If Jamal Murray puts up another 50-point game, then it's like, how do you no way the Jazz can stop that unless Mitchell puts up 50 and Gobert puts up 30, which So I do think the Nuggets win this game. Jazz already blew the 3-1 lead, so really at this point Nuggets have to win.
Yeah. Last night, big game for the Clippers. Kawhi and PG took out Doncic and the Mavericks in 6 games. What are your thoughts on that series? First of all, it was a great series to see.
It was really back and forth. Porzingis got hurt. That was a killer. That when he got hurt and he didn't play, I was like, yeah. There's no way the Mavs can win the series now. Which, you always got to have hope. But when you really think about it, I didn't see them winning.
When you lose one of your top players, you can't really recover from that.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. Injuries happen. It's just unfortunate,
Yeah. Speaking of another LA team, the Lakers taking out the Blazers in 5 games after Portland went up 1-0. Lakers come back to win 4 straight. What are your thoughts?
Well, shout out to Damian Lillard. He's gonna have a new kid, so congrats to him. But the Lakers, like, let's be honest, like the Lakers were not gonna lose that series. like LeBron was not losing to the Portland Trail Blazers, so it was kind of obvious that they were gonna win 5 after Portland stole game 1. It was like, okay, they steal 1 game, but it's not like it's gonna go 7 or 6.
Yeah. So it looks like the Lakers will play the winner of the Rockets and Thunder. Who do you got?
I think the Rockets win next game, no debate. And Westbrook's back. He's looked fine. Harden, he's putting up points. Now, it's like when you think about, do you really think Harden is going to lose to an old Chris Paul and Dennis Schroeder? Like, no. Like, what? Like, come on. Like,
especially because Westbrook's back in the lineup too.
Yeah. Real people with real NBA knowledge, like, they should know that, like, there's no way Harden's gonna lose the series. Like, no way. I don't see it. Unless Steven Adams puts up like 20 and 20, and then Chris Paul puts up 40, and like Schroeder puts up 20. I don't.
After that loss to the Warriors a couple of years ago, they really want to be motivated, especially with Westbrook on the team. I think they'll take out Oklahoma City.
Yeah, next game it should be over. Be over.
Let's get to our quarterfinals predictions. So we think on the West side, the Lakers will take on presumably the Houston Rockets. Who would you have in that series, and why?
Lakers Rockets, man, that's really a toss-up. You could go Lakers in 6 or Rockets in 6, but I think I'll go with the Lakers only because Anthony Davis is just gonna have a feast in the paint. Because like PJ Tucker's not stopping him, Covington's not gonna stop him. Like Westbrook, no. Harden, no. Like, who's going to stop Davis? Literally no one. Then LeBron's going to do his thing. If Kuzma gets hot, then, it's basically over.
Especially because the Houston Rockets don't have a center, like a good center.
Yeah.
Or like center.
Yeah. The only way they can win the series – keep going.
Yeah, I believe the Lakers will take this in around 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
I just don't see the Lakers losing to this team. It'll be a good close series, but – I just don't see LeBron getting eliminated in the quarterfinals that quick, right?
Yeah, I don't see it either. I don't see it happen.
Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup for sure.
Yeah.
All right, since we said the Nuggets beating the Jazz in 7, let's go on to this next matchup. Another LA team, the Clippers, taking on the Denver Nuggets. Well, as our prediction. Who do you think will win that?
Okay. Honestly, Clippers in 6. I don't again. The Nuggets, they have Murray and Jokic, but after that, it's like Michael Porter Jr. and Bol. Okay. Like, meanwhile, Clippers, you got Patrick Patterson, former Raptor, Kawhi, former Raptor, Paul George, Patrick Beverly, Marcus Morris. The Clippers are not losing that. I don't see it happening. They just got too much star power to lose to the Nuggets.
Yeah, I think the Clippers will take that in 6 or 7 as well. It's also going to be a very entertaining series with Kawhi and Jamal Murray popping off in these playoffs. Well, it's going to be tough for the Denver Nuggets, but maybe they can pull it through. But I also just don't see Kawhi losing, like the Clippers losing to the Nuggets, especially in the quarterfinals. So that's why I'm going to say the Clippers in 6 or 7. It's going to be a close series down to the wire.
Yeah, it'll be close, but Jamal Murray's going to have to play out of his mind, though.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Jokic needs to help. Jokic needs to help Jamal a lot if they want to push it to 7 or even try and win the series.
Exactly. Moving on to the Eastern Conference. Number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks taking on number 5 seed Miami Heat. Game 1 starts tonight at 6:30 on ESPN. Who do you got?
Relatively soon, actually. I think in Game 1 today, I think the Heat could win this series, which I think they will in 6. I feel like they're better coached because like Eric Spoelstra against Mike Budenholzer, I think Spoelstra will outcoach him. And Buzz, I just think the Heat have a better overall team. Like when you think about it, they have Hero who can shoot, Derrick Jones Jr., they got Butler there, they got Bam Adebayo, they got Jay Crowder, they got Andre Iguodala, I think. Isn't he still on the Heat? I think.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So and then like on the Bucks. Someone's at the door. Okay, right. But they have Middleton. That's really it.
Yeah, the Heat just have to D up on Giannis, and then maybe they'll take control of him in the paint.
Yeah. What? Didn't agree. in the first round, like they didn't really look good. They didn't
Yeah,
look right. Like they looked shaky. They weren't great.
Yeah, they didn't look that good.
You know? Yeah, it wasn't fantastic. So I feel like they've been mediocre in the bubble. They don't look great. So I do think the Heat could win the series.
Yeah, I think the Heat will take that series as well in 7.
Yeah.
It's gonna go down to the wire again. If the Heat just D up
7?
on Giannis, they watch the point and they play the way they usually play, I think they'll take out the Bucks for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just makes sense.
The last quarterfinal matchup, Boston Celtics taking on the Raptors.
Right.
Raptors already down 1-0 after last night's game. Who do you got?
Yeah, well, I am a Raptors fan, so I get to go Raptors in 6. Or 7. Honestly. Blue Jays just lost. That's unfortunate. And 7. Actually, let's go 7. I think Blue Jays. I think Raps win in 7.
Yeah.
I think they'll win. It'll be extremely close because they're two evenly balanced teams. So I think 7 will be fine.
Yeah, I think the Raptors will bounce back from this 1-0 deficit and win the game and win the series in 7. I believe so.
Yeah.
They're such a great team.
And plus, they're defending champions.
Nick Nurse is such a great coach. And if they play the way that they played against the Nets, it's gonna be over for the Celtics if we play that good.
It's not gonna be fun for the Celtics.
Yeah. So our predictions are: we got the Heat playing the Raptors in the conference final, and the Lakers and the Clippers in the West Conference final.
Yeah.
Gonna be great matchup.
Well, yeah. But we'll predict for we'll do when if these teams actually make it to the conference final, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But and also I really hate seeing Boston eliminate my Toronto team. So let's transfer over to hockey now.
Right. Already in the quarterfinals. A lot has gone on so far in these playoffs.
Yeah.
Tampa's up 3-1 Tampa's up 3-1 against the Bruins. The Islanders went up 3-1 last night against the Flyers. Dallas is up 3-1 as well.
Up 3-1.
And Vegas is also
up 3-1. Oh man.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. Let's start off with the Boston Bruins. First of all, this is what I love to see, Boston just losing. I did have the Bruins losing in 6 because they don't have Tuukka Rask. Pasternak hasn't played well. Bergeron hasn't put up as many points as you would think. Richie only had 1 goal. Also, he's a dirty player. So after that hit, that's unfortunate. And plus, what do you think about it? Vasilevsky is not going to get outplayed by – let's be honest. That's not happening.
Yeah,
still
exactly.
1 game, but they're still 3 others and win the series against Vasilevsky. I don't see it happening. I don't see Alok doing it.
Yeah, I don't see that happening either. I think Tampa are going to take this in 5 or 6. Maybe Boston will get 1 more game, but that Tampa team, even without Stamkos, they're such a great team. They took out Columbus, and now it looks to me like they're going to take out the Bruins in 5.
Yeah, and their defense, man, it's Hedman, Kirk, McGowan's playing well, Sergachev's playing well, and scoring from Sorelli. Tyler Johnson's putting up points sometimes. Points putting up major points. They're playing as a team. They actually have third, fourth line that can actually put up points. You know.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to the next matchup. We got the Islanders up 3-1 against the Philadelphia Flyers. Who do you got in that series?
I will here, and I will say Flyers in 7.
Really?
I think Carter Hart will. I do think Carter Hart can steal a couple games. I do think it could happen.
They didn't play him last night. They played.
I know. Bro.
They played Elliott instead.
Yeah. Well, of course they have to play Elliott because yesterday game 4. Yeah. So in game 2, Carter Hart did not look great. So it was just put on Brian Elliott. If it works, it works. You know. But they're down 3-1. I do think they can't come back though. I do think it happens.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm gonna go with the opposite. I think the Islanders are gonna take this in 5 or 6. The Flyers could get 1 more win, but I just don't see them getting past this great team of the Islanders that actually took out Washington in 5 games. Pretty impressive stuff.
Well, again, Washington got completely outcoached by Barry Trotz. So
former coach of the Washington Capitals that got them the Stanley Cup as well.
He knew the game plan. He knows everyone there. He knows how they play. So, yeah. And plus, it's gonna be hard for Philly to come back. Yeah, Philly. Because that Islanders defense, man, it's really good. It's really good. That defense is stacked, and they're getting offense from Uncle Leo, former Leaf, Matt Martin, former Leaf, Barzal Lee. It's like.
Yeah, that Islanders team is also the best defending team in the National Hockey League right now. So it's going to be tough for the Philadelphia Flyers to put up points against that D pair of all the defense. Yeah, that's going to
have to play out of his mind.
Yeah, Carter Hart, he's got to play amazing. You got to also the forwards and defense just have to play amazing in order for them to make it.
Yeah, that's put up points.
All right, let's move on.
To put up points. Yeah.
Let's move on to the Western Conference. 3-1 between the Vegas Golden Knights and Vancouver Canucks. Canucks facing elimination. Vegas Golden Knights versus the Canucks. Who do you got winning that series? That's going to be a good one. That's a good one so far.
It has been a good one, but Golden Knights are winning. I don't like Fleury, Leonard. Who's beating that? And that's why I do have Vegas winning the Stanley Cup. That goaltending is amazing. And then you have the defense, Alec Martinez, who they picked up at the deadline. It's like, it's like, how do you stop? And then you have Pacioretty's stone. Alex Tuck has 7 goals, I think. Chandler Stevenson's putting up points. It's like, how do you stop that team? You really can't because they're everywhere. Defense good, goaltending is great, forwards great. It's like you can't stop it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great like series finale of that series. It's gonna go down to the wire. Maybe Canucks will take this in about maybe Canucks will come back to Game 7 and win it all, but we don't know. But I on it. But my prediction here: Canucks take Game 5, right? Game 6. Yeah, they go to Game 6 and then they lose. I think Vegas is just too good, especially with Fleury and Robin Leonard playing amazing. Yeah. I don't think the Canucks will score on them.
And
finally, hockey predictions. So we got last one actually. We got the Dallas Stars. Up 3-1 against the Colorado Avalanche. Your second favorite team here.
Yeah, I know. It's been rough. It's been rough, man.
It's been a rough series. It's been a rough series for the Avs, especially with a veteran team like Dallas taking them out. Here's the thing: you can't doubt Dallas because they have a lot of guys that have been in the playoffs, veteran players that want to win again. Like Corey Perry, he's got a cup. He wants to win again. There's guys like Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn. They don't want to lose. They want a Stanley Cup.
They want that badly. I think Colorado's caught by surprise by how well they're scoring. Yeah, Dallas is scoring because they were one of the worst offensive teams, like one of them in the league during the regular season. And now they're just scoring 7 goals against the Flames, 5 goals here, 5 goals there, 6 goals. So it's ridiculous. But I do think the Avs can pull this off. It can go Game 7. I do think the Avs, because Cale Makar, he made that one brutal mistake yesterday that costed them a goal. And if he didn't make that mistake, they would have went to overtime. So I do think the Avs can go to Game 7, and I do think they can win in Game 7 with that firepower, with McKinnon, Landeskog, and Randon. And Cale Makar there, Kadri's there, Donskoy is there. I think it could go 7. I do think it goes 7.
I think Dallas is going to take this in 5 or 6. There's no way. It's hard to come back, especially when you're on the brink of elimination, where you have to win 3 games to at least tie, right? So it's or to win, right? It's going to be hard for them. It's going to be hard for them to come back from that. It's going to be tough. But I don't see Colorado coming back here. I think Dallas is playing so well that they're just going to just wear them down, score a bunch of goals, and take that series.
Yeah. Anything can happen, though. Like, we've seen in hockey. Anything, Leafs blowing leads. Oh, we'll get to Leafs, actually.
We'll get to speaking of Toronto, we'll predict we'll predict the NHL playoffs as soon as the second round is complete, and we will predict the conference finals in another episode.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Leafs for a second here.
My favorite team.
Of course, yeah. From Toronto. Speaking of the Leafs, Kapanen going to Pittsburgh, and the Leafs receiving a right-handed defenseman and a first pick. Who do you think won this trade? Who do you think won this trade?
I do think Toronto. Pittsburgh fans say Pittsburgh, but I do think Toronto. They got their cap space. They got their first round pick for captain, who's like a third line player. They got Hollander, who's 20 years old and is pretty good in the SHL. So if you can come to the NHL and play like good, like if you could be like a third line player, then that's fine. And then David Worofsky, he's probably like a depth defense. He's like 30 years old, so but I do think the Leafs won this trade. They got their much needed cap space. I've defended Dubas a lot, and after this trade, looks like I will keep defending him. He did a decent job in this trade. Now, they still have other issues. Still got to address that defense, and Frederik Andersen is a question mark because apparently the Hurricanes have talked to Toronto about Frederik Andersen, and the Leafs need to do something with this goaltending issue because they don't want Freddie Anderson is going to be a free agent after this season, 2020, 2021 season. So it's like, do you want to do a trade, trade Anderson for defenseman and then do a separate trade for another goalie? Or do you just want to do goalie for goalie or something, Kyle Dubas has to be creative here.
Do you imagine if the Hurricanes trade James Reimer for Frederik Anderson and James Reimer comes back to Toronto? that would be hilarious, don't you think?
Yeah, that's something Dubas would do, though.
Probably. Dubas would probably try and get James Reimer back on the team. I mean, he's a good goaltender. Anderson's also getting how old is Anderson? In his 30s, right?
30.
And how old is James Reimer? Probably.
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I mean, it would be a fair trade. But I would trade Anderson to somewhere else.
Yeah, or no, I would trade him to Carolina. Maybe look at Slavin, Hamilton. No, they're not going to give up Hamilton. Sammy Vonninen's a good defenseman. Hayden Fleury's been all right. You got guys there who can play defense. Also Edmonton. When you think about Edmonton, their goaltending issue isn't great either. So it's you can maybe trade Anderson to Edmonton, get Adam Larson, which he's been all right. Darnell Nurse, Ethan Bear, but he's probably going to be way too much in value because he's a young, great defenseman. So there's many options,
Exactly. Another team looking to trade one of their goaltenders, Pittsburgh Penguins, looking to get rid of Tristan Jarry or Matt Murray. Which one do you think is going to go? Or even will they get rid of anyone? We don't even know.
But see, another example, you could trade Frederik Andersen to Pittsburgh for one of those goaltenders. But if I was the GM of Pittsburgh, I would most likely trade Matt Murray. Jarry's looked better. Isn't he younger than Matt Murray, I think?
Yeah.
Isn't he younger?
Yeah, he is. So Matt Murray's about 28. I think Tristan Jarry's in his early 20s.
Yeah, I think Matt Murray's the one to go because he hasn't looked great. And maybe at the same time, maybe he just needs to change the scenery because this NHL season, he just wasn't great. So maybe he just needs to change the scenery to get back to his confidence, to that star goaltender that won 2 cups. So plus he's only 26. He's only 26 or 28. So he's still in his prime. He's still got many years to go. So
here's the thing. The thing also is, I don't know. I think he'd look better in another team. He's done his part. He's won 2 cups.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for him to move. And this season, Jarry's proven that he's the better goaltender for this season. Jarry's been playing incredible, getting Pittsburgh up there, especially without Crosby for a good chunk of the season.
Yeah. They were right there. They were right there in the thick of things of top 3 in the Metropolitan Division. They were right there. But
yeah, that's why maybe if the Leafs can try and trade Anderson for Matt Murray, it'd be a pretty fair trade. You just have to throw in a couple picks maybe, but that's about it. A couple prospects.
Maybe.
Yeah,
or maybe just Jarry. Maybe try and get Jarry. Maybe try and fleece Jim Rutherford because Jim Rutherford has not been great. He gave up a first for Kapanen. Imagine if the Leafs trade Nylander, what they're going to get for Nylander.
Oh yeah, especially because they got a first pick. They got a first pick out of Kapanen, right?
Yeah, and Nylander scores 30+ goals. Imagine if they trade Nylander, how much they're going to get for Nylander. It's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but we'll get into trade talks and a free agency. We'll get to Taylor Hall and stuff later.
Yeah.
In another episode for Trangelo and all that.
Trade deadline is pretty soon, so.
Yeah, free agency.
Yeah. It's gonna be soon, so we'll get more than that. Let's go into the topic of soccer.
Oh man,
Messi
really?
Before we get into Messi, let's talk about Toronto FC.
Yeah. Let's go on a brighter note. FC literally unstoppable now. They've won 3 in a row. 2 against Vancouver. They haven't conceded a goal yet. They beat Montreal. Pozuelo with the goal in the 50th minute on Friday. They look great. Piatti, he's been fantastic. A couple chances on Friday. He's looked great. He's looked solid. The whole team looks fantastic. Like, there's nothing really going on. Quinton Westberg, he's been a solid goaltender. The defense is stepping up. But like, I think Toronto FC could win the MLS Cup again this year. I do think there's nothing really wrong with that team. Maybe just a little bit more depth. Maybe like a little, bench. Like maybe add some players to the bench. But honestly, other than that, like they've been pretty solid.
They're a great team this season, especially coming after especially after that loss in the Cup last year. Maybe this year they'll bounce back and play the way they usually play.
Yeah, but like let's switch over to European soccer. It's hard for me to say because I'm a Barcelona fan, but Messi. I think it's over. It's over now.
He definitely wants to leave Barcelona. Now the question is, where will he go?
Man City, Inter Milan, PSG, and who wants to pay $700 million for Messi? Who wants to pay that?
How can people afford that, right?
Who wants to pay that money?
Teams are rich, but I mean, still, that's a lot for one player.
Yeah.
I mean, he is one of the best in the world, so it makes sense for him to ask that much. But still, right?
Mm-hmm. And plus, teams are getting better. Sevilla got Rakitic early this morning. Real Sociedad got David Silva today.
Chelsea getting Thiago Silva,
Timo Werner from Leipzig, and they got Kai Havertz from Leverkusen. So they're stacking up right there. It's crazy. It's like Barcelona looks like going downhill. They're apparently Inter Milan has contacted Vidal's agent, Arturo Vidal. Vidal might go to Inter Milan. Lenglet is up for sale. Piqué is up for sale. Rakitic left. It's not great. It's not great on Barcelona land. It's not great.
Yeah, I think it looks like Messi might go to Man City from here. That's what the score's been saying. Everyone's been saying that Messi's going to leave Barca and go to Man City. Apparently Neymar's trying to get him on PSG now. Mm-hmm. Imagine that lineup imagine Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. On that top 11.
Yeah, but also, if he goes to Man City, he'll be reunited with Pep, their coach. So, because he used to coach for Barcelona, so we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. We will see. Some great soccer news from Canada. Alphonso Davies winning Rookie of the Year in the Bundesliga, and also winning the UFA Champions League.
Yeah, fantastic. And then he got followed by Drake. Like, how does that happen? It's followed by Drake on that same night.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Jonathan David, he went to LOSC. Apparently a historic transfer in Canadian football history. But again, no one's beating PSG in League One. It's like, let's be honest, who's beating them? Lyon? No. Marseille? No.
Monaco? There's no way. PSG has to win.
Yeah, like no competition there. Like, who's as good as PSG in League One? Literally no one. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's like no one. Like when you think about it, who?
Yeah. It's gonna be crazy, especially because next summer we got the Euro 2021.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy, especially because we were supposed to have it this summer. For us Italian fans, Italy's finally in the Euro again. It's been a long time. Because they didn't make it to the World Cup, so now we get to see them play nationally for the first time in since 2016, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's gonna be exciting.
They were on a mission, qualifying for the I forgot the name. Qualifying for the Euro. Yeah, they won 13 games in a row, and like they looked great before the pandemic. They looked great. Speaking of Italian, I'm having lasagna for dinner, so you already know.
Exactly. Us Italians, in our Italian food, eh?
Yeah, sir. Italy looked fine. They should be one of the favorites to win the Euro. France obviously up there. Oh, speaking of France, Griezmann. Apparently, Atletico Madrid wants Griezmann back. Now, it was a rumor they want Griezmann, and Barcelona's trying to get Joao Felix from Atletico Madrid. So a lot of rumors going on, spreading around Barcelona and who they want to sell. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be
very interesting, and all this can conspire in like a week. We don't even know. Messi could have. Apparently, Messi might not even. He didn't show up at the COVID testing.
Nope, didn't even show up to training today. So
he really wants to get out of there, and apparently Suarez, right,
might go to Juventus or Ajax. So that's massive.
And a lot of teams in Europe making moves.
Mm-hmm. A lot of teams are getting better, and Barcelona looks like they're not just no. Like they're not looking great.
They got to do something. They got to do something.
Ter Stegen's also hurt. He's out for the next 5 months, I think. So, it's getting worse and worse. Oh man, like yeah. You just want to cap it off, or?
I guess we'll leave it at there. So podcast will be uploaded every Monday and Saturday. Next podcast, we will be talking about the conference final for the NHL. More news on the MLB, the MLS, Europa, and the NBA.
Yes, sir.
Signing off there.
Thank you.
All
See
right.
you, man.
That's it.